Mayor's office has identified the man's body found in Cross Bayou Wednesday morning. Shreveport police have notified family and released his name, Jeremy Burks, a 36-year-old man from Shreveport. There was a missing persons report on Burks back in early March when he was last seen fishing at 12 Mile Bayou. It's unknown how he died. The badly decomposed body was found in Cross Bayou near the Allendale community. Burks was identified through clothing and jewelry, as well as 2 tattoos that match a description from that missing persons report. The body was found by construction surveyors just after 11 a.m. near Hearn Avenue.
The remains.
Now, police say right now there's no obvious signs of trauma or foul play. An autopsy has been ordered and will be performed this morning at University Health. And the CDC is issuing a new warning over concerns the Zika virus may be more dangerous than we first thought. And at least one local parish is fighting back. DeSoto Parish Animal and Mosquito Control held a meeting this week to outline plans to fight mosquito-borne illness. Now, he was serving a life sentence until it got overturned 2 years ago. Tita has been out on bond, but now the jury has to decide if he remains free or if he has to go back to prison. Tita's attorneys say new evidence shows that he deserves a lighter sentence. David Gray, former Panola County Sheriff's Office deputy, testified about going to pick up Tita from his home after Nugent's body was discovered in the freezer of her home. He says Tita originally claimed that Nugent had been kidnapped.
Then he went on to
$1,000.
Wow. Now, the case inspired the 2011 dark comedy movie Bernie. Tita is currently living in the garage apartment of the film's director, Richard Linklater. In the courts, a Shreveport man wrongfully accused of murder won't get a dime from the state. An appeals court ruled today that Glenn Ford is not entitled to receive wrongful conviction reimbursement. Now, Ford spent nearly 30 years on death row for a murder he did not commit. Ford died of lung cancer last year, just more than a year after being released from prison. The state opposed payment to Ford, saying even though he was not guilty of murder, he was, quote, up to his neck in the events surrounding the death of Shreveport jeweler Isidore Roseman during a robbery in 1983. Now, Ford did not shoot Roseman, but helped the killer get a gun and pawned some of the items stolen from Roseman. Last week, State Representative Cedric Glover filed a bill to change the state's compensation law to benefit Ford's heirs. A former Shreveport Fire Department assistant chief embroiled in the Station 8 scandal will get his job back. This morning, the Shreveport Police and Fire Civil Service Board reinstated Tommy Carpenter with full pay and benefits. Now, back in 2014, Carpenter was charged with a felony after allegedly lying to a grand jury investigating mistreatment of a mentally challenged man who visited the station. Last month, Carpenter was dismissed of a perjury charge. Hey, thanks so much, Jeff. Well, the effects are certainly far-reaching.
Yes, Jeff will zero in more tomorrow on potential effects of the LSU Medical School in Shreveport. Now, later on in this broadcast, of course, you'll take a look at all the new fees being proposed across the state. All
right, still ahead in your KTVS 3 9 o'clock news hour, new developments out of New Orleans.
Yeah, the events are.
Yeah, but as the investigation continues, authorities are learning that what happened Saturday night in the Garden District is less cut and dry than first thought. Here's Kim Hutcherson. Wow, what a wonderful way to give back.
Oh, yeah.
All right, thanks so much, Devin. Well, an Oklahoma teacher's aide and school bus driver being hailed a hero. She saved the life of a child choking on a coin, and the incident was all caught on a bus surveillance camera. Yerimi Farinas reports. Wow, her training really did pay off. That's incredible.
Bus driver of the year.
Oh, yeah, of course. All right, coming up in the next half hour, new details about how the FBI cracked that infamous iPhone belonging to the San Bernardino terrorists. Yeah. Well, it's looking more like hackers helped the FBI crack the code of a terrorist's iPhone. Yeah. Well, lawyers for the man accused of killing 9 people inside a South Carolina church will get another year to prepare for their case. A judge has agreed to delay the state death penalty trial for Dylan Roof until 2017. Roof is accused of opening fire inside of Emmanuel AME Church last June, fatally shooting 9 people, including the church's pastor. He also faces 33 federal counts, including hate crime charges. Now, last week, a U.S. District Court judge granted a motion for a continuance in Roof's federal trial. Very informative. Thanks to Jeff Beimfor for that report. No matter what happens, it looks like you will be paying more for just about everything. That's right. Although the threat has passed in some parts, unfortunately, severe weather still threatening other areas. We'll get right to it with Joe. You've been tracking severe storms all evening. Now, on the Texas side, police say they had several reports of trees and power lines down in the Liberty ILO area. No injuries reported there. The National Weather Service has determined that it was not a tornado that hit in Miller County, but rather straight line winds. Meantime, a church in El Dorado, Arkansas caught fire after a possible lightning strike. Myrtle Heights Baptist Church fell victim to the fire after storms swept through the area. In other news, being a voice and an advocate for victims of crime is at the heart of events all this week. This is National Crime Victims' Rights Week, a time to honor the lives lost to crime and give strength to others. It has to do with a lack of funding for public defenders, forcing private lawyers to handle criminal cases for free. Last week, a State House of Representatives committee approved a bill that would provide more money to each parish office.
About this today.
Yeah, Devin, and council members seem to be on the same page about it. They want to crack down on speeders and say they feel something needs to be done to deter drivers from speeding in neighborhood streets. Now, tomorrow the council will make a final vote on increasing the fines for speeding in neighborhoods. That idea was approved by the Public Safety Committee. Right now, the average fine is $150. The new fines could get as high as $300 if you're caught going up to 10 miles over the limit. And if you're going faster than that, the stakes are even higher. Today, the council had a very detailed discussion about it. They say despite rumors, this ordinance is not about making more revenue or meeting ticket quotas. It's all about safety and keeping repeat speeders from hurting anyone.
And that's where kids play, and that's where bad things really happen. And so we have to use this as a deterrent. I'm not telling you what to make the fine, but we have to do something other than what we've been doing, because we're getting the same results.
When you make the penalty a little heavier, people think a little more.
One of the things that we struggled with when this initially hit the Public Safety Committee meeting was how laughably low our fines were in the first place. And this is trying to bring it more in line with kind of a state average, or at least an average with our neighbors.
Now, this applies to streets with a speed limit of 25 miles an hour or lower. Shreveport police say they've gotten constant calls about the problem in all council districts, especially in District C, E, and D. Now, Devin, drivers can expect to see these changes very soon if that ordinance passes. We'll keep everyone posted.
All right, thank you, Alana.
The public debate over North Carolina's House Bill 2 heated up today with dueling rallies outside the state capitol. The measure passed last month requires that transgender people only use the bathrooms of their biological sex, not the gender they identify with. In more news across the nation, jury selection began today in the case of a Georgia man accused of deliberately leaving his toddler in a hot car. Justin Ross Harris is facing murder charges in the death. That's right, today is National Pet Day. We wanted to get in on showing our pets some love today. So here's some pictures of some. This story sheds light on the debate over more help for those with mental problems and heart-wrenching choices families must make. KTBS 3's Aaron Buchanan, along with our 3 Investigates team, takes a closer look. Yeah, he's back in school, and Brooks has asked the school system to see if he qualifies as a special needs student. You can find much more information and resources on this article at ktbs.com.